Hello, my name is Henry Franco. I'd like to introduce you to Dwight here. He's my new client. I'm going to be cutting his hair today using a little bit of the Jatai products. Looking at Dwight, the balance on his hair, he has a lot of hair up on top, too much hair on top for what is on the sides. So what we're going to do is balance him out a little bit here. In order for the comb to go through it, you use a wider tooth comb because he has all that curl. And again, we're going to use blade glide. It's good for pre-perming, pre-coloring, and it gives more conditioning properties to the hair. It also changes the porosity of the hair, opening up the cuticle, so moisture stays much longer, softening the hair. It also extends the life of the blades. Okay, we're going to start out with the ears, put a little foundation. And as you see, it's trimming. And they're actually doing deep cutting and just trimming around, putting that foundation in. Now you can see how I'm taking my hand and coming up and over again. Coming up over the top to get that straight line. It's really difficult. See how I got my hands turned in the opposite direction, come straight down. If you want to take the fullness out of the ear, then you make that line further away from the ear. If you want the fullness, then you bring the line down further. The growth pattern of what she has a lot of curl. Still wanted to maintain that blowback, so I'm over directing it, pulling it forward. And as you can see, I'm working on the top only right now. I'm standing on the opposite side, cutting on the opposite side. So I use that frontal plane up here. I'm going to divide the head up in different sections, extending the opposite direction, pulling it, and cutting on a 45 because I want to maintain the length. And you can always go back and cut more. You play with it, but you're still staying with the same lines. You're staying with this. Notice that I'm still working with the planes of the head, and that I'm cutting and pulling it in the opposite direction. And you're using that little bit of a guideline. The guideline is determined by the first cut. A lot of people pull up the guideline and take a real close look at it. I've been doing it so much that I don't need to do that. Curly hair is really difficult to work with. You don't want to be cutting into a curl. You got to watch the curls itself, because if you cut into a curl at a certain point, then it sticks up. What's right and what's wrong is determining, okay, as the fold of the curl comes around, you don't cut in the middle of it. You got to get away from the curl, get out of the curl, or stay at the far end of the curl. If you wanted to cut it shorter, you'd still be cutting it on a 45, but you wouldn't be doing the overextension. You would be pulling the opposite direction, and because you've overextended it, you won't have that tendency to cut it short, but still taking into consideration that you have to cut it on the planes of the head. I'm working with those planes up in the front right there. And then by extending the hair over, now I'm going to cut it on a 45. By me standing in that position and maintaining that position, I'm always going to get that same cut. I'm not moving. You've got to stay in position. Now we're working on the back, okay? And I'm using a thinning shear. It'll make it easier for him to work with at home. And the other thing when I do this, okay, if he comes in on a regular basis, like if he comes in like every 3 weeks, I've already established my line, so I know in 3 weeks how much I'm going to be determined to cut that next time. Just tip it and doing the tips. Not going in real deep, but you're still working on the same planes. It'll make his hair easier to comb just by touching the tips of it. I'm still doing the same cut all over again, but I'm doing it on the very ends. When I do this, okay, if he comes in on a regular basis, like if he comes in like every 3 weeks, I've already established my line, so I know in 3 weeks how much I'm going to be determined to cut that next time. It's like a blueprint of what you're working with. Coming in, and I want to use the clipper here. I've got a number 2 blade. It maintains the same length all the way through. It's a lot faster than the shear over comb method, and I know that I'm going to get a uniform taper all the way through the back. And then I come back and I'm able to do the real finishing work because I've just done the rough work. I'm able to get down to a 0, which is really close to the nape. So it's like doing the finishing work. You use that real fine blade to draw out your lines, and I'll come back and use a razor, and I have a guideline to go with the razor. I don't have to look for it. Basically, that's the first haircut. And then we'll go through what we call the second haircut after we do the shave around the ear. So what we're looking at right here is goatee, as to how to shape his goatee. Shape it to fit his face more, so it doesn't extend his jawline out too far. But if you pull the line back, it makes the chin extend out, and you don't want that on the profile. What we're going to do is bring the lines straighter down. Eliminate that particular type of line. You don't want the line to come back. If he has a pointy chin, you don't want the lines to come back. You want the lines more horizontal than the vertical. In applying the lather, we're doing massaging and cleansing the face. It's like shampooing the skin. You're taking off that little extra grime that's on your skin. Okay, so then we apply the steam towel after we've done this. Okay, you drop it down on the lip, the upper lip, pull down, pull towards you, take the corners and draw them up and over. Now we've got him all prepared. It's nice and soft, good. And we're making a lather. The tool to do the work, you're just guiding it. Make it nice and creamy, like whipped cream. Make sure it's nice and warm. Okay, then we're determining as to what we can use on his skin. We're using the DX with the super blade and get all the excess off. And now I'm going to come in, and because he has sensitive skin, we'll use the lighter blade. I want to comb through it so I can draw it out on his face. You don't want to go in blind. Now we've able to put the line in, and all I have to do is come in with the blade and go up to that line, and that I don't have to guess. And then you can cut. I'm going probably at a 10-degree angle. Just gliding across his face. Notice how I'm sliding it. I'm not dragging it down, I'm just more sliding. So you're able to cut the hair, you're not drawing down on it. When you're digging in, then you're damaging the skin a little bit more. And this is when you start getting into the hair follicles and you're dragging on it. By sliding it, you're just cutting the hair itself. You're not disturbing the hair follicle as much as when you do it on drag. It gives you a longer life on your blade by slicing it. It's like slicing bread. You gotta slice it, you just can't dig into it. If he has sensitive skin, you do not want to go against the grain of it. You're looking at it, you notice that there's a little indentation right there. He did this because he's more right-handed and he's harder to get on the left-hand side, so he cut into it. We've already made the line underneath, and so he's going to allow this to grow to get it in uniform with the other side so it's balanced out. We're going back in to get all the excess lather off and warm up his skin again and get ready to do the second shave. Now we're coming back with the sensitive blade. You're going through the same motions that you did with the other blade when you do the second shave. As you notice, I'm stretching the skin and I've got the blade set at a 45. This particular razor right there with a sensitive skin, you're able to use just very little of the blade. The SS model is this lighter stainless steel, and the difference between this and the DX razor is the rounded and tip gently pushes the skin down and raises the whiskers up. This takes the pressure off the blade so it can glide over the skin for a smoother, closer shave. Now I'm coming back with the astringent, because we've just exposed his face to bacteria. We're cleaning all the bacteria off. So then we're putting back the oil. We're taking all the oils off, so now we got to put the oils back in. And then again, we put the towel on, and the reason I put the towel back on, because I put an excess amount of oil onto his face, and so I want to get the excess oil off. What I'm going to do now is just blot it, let it set for a while, let it relax a little bit. I've got my hands on it, make sure it stays nice and warm. Okay, you notice I didn't wipe it, I just blotted. Then I come back with the moisturizer, put the moisturizer into his skin, maintain that moisture, and the oil, seal it all in. What I put is a beard softener into his beard. Makes it a lot more manageable. It's easier on my tools, saves the tools at the same time. So here we go to shave around the ears. Stretching the ears using the toe of the blade. And we're coming straight down, not in, but straight down. Men's, you do straight down. Women's, they come in on an angle. We've done the around the ear. We're going back and checking it all out, looking for the spears, doing the finishing touches. Check it all out. You always leave, every once in a while, you leave a little wild hair there. You go back, go through it all through again. Same angles. You're doing the same angles. You're just going through and checking. The hair is dry at this point. Okay, so now here we coming in, we're using the shears. What I'm doing here is that I'm not creating lines. I want to still maintain the softness around his lips so it's not real harsh looking. Now I'm going in there and I'm just tapering this out a little bit. That there is probably a number one. I'm using about a number one blade there just to take that little sharp edge off of it. And then we come in and we put the vibrator onto his shoulders, relax him, make him feel good. Talk to him, and when he tells you that he's really feeling good, that's when you quit. I want to thank Dwight for being here with us today. As you can see what I've done to his hair, I've kind of balanced him all out. And when you're working with curly hair, you would learn to maintain the moisture in the hair, so it's easy for you to work with. It's not really that difficult. All you have to do is understand how the curls will function. If you apply the moisture to it, he maintains the moisture in it. It's easy to do.